and welcome into the stream. Hopefully you're having a strong start to your morning. I know that I am. Really ready to jump in. We have so much action going on today compared to yesterday with the NBA, NHL, college basketball. Everything's really more in full swing, especially today for college basketball. We have so many smaller conferences kicking off their tournaments. It's kind of actually what I'm looking at my phone at the moment right now to see what some of these games I wanted to make sure. Yeah, we have college basketball starting at noon Eastern today. And it kind of moves on. The Atlantic Sun Conference, the first round of the Atlantic Sun kind of gets started. So we have a lot happening, which is fantastic. Can't wait to jump in, look at some different picks with you guys. I have the DFS pulled up right here, so we're going to jump into this right now. So I'm going to minimize myself, and hopefully you guys are having a fantastic start to your Tuesday morning. It is Hawaiian Tuesdays as always, rocking the Hawaiian shirts. So, little Hawaiian vibes as we are slowly making our way towards spring, which is, for those of you that live in the Northeast, the Midwest, we're kind of finally getting there, right? That's what it's all about. So, all right, let's get started with this thing. I'm going to refresh the page. Looking at PrizePicks, we do have a really good opportunity here for this tennis match with Schoolgate over here on the over 12.5. Basically, guys, when you're looking at this type of market, you're assuming that this match is going to go 3 sets. You need this person to basically, maybe win the first set 6-2, lose 6-3, and then win the next set, or 7-5, 6-5, something like that. You need this person to win over 12 games. So Pinnacles doesn't take a lot of money on this particular market, but again, something that maybe we want to take a look at in general that we want to throw in our slip, because it is a 5% edge to Pinnacle, and I do think the Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book out there pre-game when it comes to looking at tennis. So I'm going to add this person to the slip, and then we're going to go over and take a look at FanDuel. Options are kind of limited right now. This morning, I'm a little disappointed, honestly, with what we have. FanDuel, though, we got a decent amount. Fox, Bam. All right, we definitely have a 3-pick slip available for us. So let's go over here. Let's take a look at Bam. We're looking at the under on his rebounds. And then Fox, we're looking at the under on his rebounds and assists. Under 9.5. Okay, here we go. And this is going to be a 3-pick slip, guys, with no insurance. And I'm going to share this link with you guys so that you can copy it. 1 over, 2 unders. And there we go. We get the day started with our first 3-pick slip. Irish, what's going on? 49ers Faithful, how are you? MP, good morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully all of you are having a great start to your morning. And a lot happening today. So, as I mentioned before, I'm so excited for this just for live betting purposes. But, today at work, and really, guys, starting today and for the rest of this week, we're going to have the smaller college basketball conferences, their conference tournaments kick off. So you're going to have basketball going on during lunchtime, during early afternoons. So instead of sitting there maybe on your lunch break today and not much going on, you might have some opportunities to hit some live betting up, some different plays up. So this is kind of the beginning of a really good time, because this week and next week is conference tournaments, and there's going to be a lot of action going on all throughout the day, which is fantastic. All right. Let me refresh this once more. According to FanDuel, we could grab this Anthony Edwards play. This is even better on the rebounds and assists. If you wanted to disregard the tennis play and grab these 3, you can do so. Take a sip of water, and then we'll jump over to Underdog. All right, let's see what we got going on Underdog. 2-pick entries on Underdog. Ooh, all right, we got a couple options here. Murray over on 3s, Harden under on assists, Jalen Green. This Jalen Green play is obviously head and shoulders a little bit better than the rest. So we're going to take his over on over on assists, not 3s. Over on assists for Jalen Green, over 2.5. Jump back over here to Pinnacle. We'll see. We only have one result. It's a very low edge play. So we're going to lean more FanDuel here for this second pick on our slip. I don't really use FanDuel that much for tennis, so I'm going to go with Murray over here on the over on his threes. DeJounte, who's finally back in the league from his Achilles injury, which is nice to see. And, all right, so this is going to be a two-pick slip, no insurance. Love rocking two-pick entries. Quick, easy, fast, we can go through. Shout out. Good morning. Melissa, what live betting college do you DVig to? Books. So, Melissa, I would say I would go, it's not maybe the answer that you think. I recently made a video that went through all of my DVig settings for all the college basketball markets for pregame and live. So I'll share that link with you just for the interest of time. Pinnacle is important to use, but they only really showcase some of the top 25 matchups. So whenever you have time, I would watch this video because it kind of breaks down each market, each book that I use as a sharp for live and for pregame. So definitely take a look at that. All right, so there's a two-pick slip over there on Underdog. Good question, though. Good question. And so let's go over and let's take a look at Better. We got some discounts already on Better for right now. I think it's like a Maxi and a Luca, maybe a Luca discount as well. So let's see what we have. All right, a little lower edge DVig and FanDuel actually kind of bums me out a little bit. This Mobley play is not bad. The Anthony Edwards play, I don't have any exposure to these plays just yet. But I always like to just go over to Pinnacle just to see, do they have any higher edge plays? And they only have one right now. But it is Miles Bridges, and it's 10.5%. So I'm in on that. He's definitely going on my slip for Better. So I'm going to use the Maxi discount right here, the over on his points and assists. And then we're going to grab this Bridges play. Make sure it's Miles, guys, not McHale. And tell me they didn't bump it yet. Good, they didn't. All right, so the over on his threes. And then we'll go back to FanDuel. Again, using just the power default DVig method. Evan Mobley. Mobley or Edwards, they're both very similar with their edges. Take the under 7.5. This is a three-pick entry. Perfect entry, guys. We'll use, looks like I got some $10 promotional Better bucks, which is appreciate that. All right, I'll share this link with you guys here for the first Better discount. I'm going to save the second Better discount for tonight's stream. Once we get past Anthony Edwards, these edges really are just slim. Not much there. And let's see. All right, let me get that, grab that over here, and I can share that with you guys. If you guys copied the two-pick slip yesterday on Underdog, that cashed, which was nice. And then if you followed the two-pick parlay that I shared on X, that cashed as well. Shout out to Arizona. Wildcats took care of business. First half spread and regular spread, which was really, really nice. All right, so there's that link over there on Better. And for the moment, I'm just going to kind of chill on sharing any. I'm not going to go ahead and cook up another one over there. So let's take a look at parlay play, dabble, and then DraftKings pick 6. Let's go here, date range for today, and then just sports books. Now, a little announcement, guys, just in terms of streaming moving on for the rest of the week. I will be streaming tonight and tomorrow evening. Thursday, I am traveling to Mexico. So I am looking to stream. We're going to try my first ever stream in Mexico on Friday. So we're going to try streaming Friday and on Saturday. We'll see how that goes. But there won't be a stream on Thursday as I'll be traveling. And then Friday and Saturday, we're looking to have a stream, Friday morning, Saturday, normal time morning. No stream on Sunday as I'll be traveling back. So just kind of a little heads up for OGs and DGens, just so you know. Stream tonight, stream tomorrow morning, stream tomorrow evening, and then we'll look to stream on Friday. And I'm looking to sign up with Team Mexico. It's one of the books that I know that OddsJam has, and I'm looking to hit that up. So let's go to Pinnacle Power. All right, the Bridges play on threes looks really good on pick 6. We got some parlay play here. The Schroeder play, this Cunningham play I like a lot. I'm just hoping that these aren't like payout boost plays. All right, so Cade under on rebounds. And then we need Dennis Schroeder. And we're looking at the over on his points. So these aren't nice. These aren't boosted. Cool. And then everything else here is just really too low of an edge for me. If we go to FanDuel, we only have 4 results. Okay, the Koulibaly play is good with me. The Westbrook play, yeah. The Anunoby play, Anunoby, it's kind of the same as what we had over there on, not loving it. So I'm just going to play this as a 2-pick entry here, guys, on parlay play. I do have some different boosts. Shout out parlay play. They're giving me a 30% boost. Max $50 wager for this 2-pick entry, guys. So I'm going to grab this right now. Shout out parlay play for throwing me some boosts. So we're going to take the Schroeder and Cunningham play, and I'm going to slap my boost on it. So I'm taking the under on Cunningham on his rebounds, the over on Schroeder on his points. Arturo, that's a good question. Not yet. Not ready for that. Spanish is slowly getting better, but I'm not ready to do a full stream in Espanol. So I'm not ready for that just quite yet. All right, 2-pick play on parlay play, but it would be a nice goal of mine to maybe be able to do that in the next, maybe give me another year. Maybe I can start doing it a little bit. That would be cool. Same with Dabble, guys. I'd like to make a 3-pick slip, but we just don't really have it. Let me check out the sharp money tool to see if we can maybe add the final leg to that slip on parlay play, or excuse me, on Dabble. Naz Reid over on points. I mean, I'd rather play this on underdog at minus 115 odds compared to minus 122 for Naz Reid. I mean, that's what I would rather do. That's really good. Kello, where? Yeah, Pinnacle's at minus 121. It's low liquidity. I don't know. I don't really like what I got on Dabble. Not really. What about Tobias Harris? Not really. All right, we're just going to hold off on the moment for Dabble. Just not loving it. Jalen Green's a little low, so I'm really not looking to cook up anything else. If anything else for Dabble shows up for Pinnacle, no, I was going to hold my breath, but not there. But we do have some other plays that popping up. Bridges, Hart, Cunningham. We got some different stuff cooking, which I like to see. Paulo and Bridges, not bad. But there's no other DraftKings pick 6 option here that I can select to add to my slip. King, I don't know where Dabble in terms of their company, in terms of where they are originally from. They've always been available in Florida for like the last couple of years. They just recently came live in Arizona about 3 or 4 months ago. So not really sure. It's a DFS book. There could be a different book maybe in Australia that's called Dabble that's similar, but this is a DFS book. So, but maybe it has Australian roots. I'm not really sure in terms of where it was based out of. All right, that's where we're going to kind of pause there. I'm going to go hit up look at some arbitrage plays, guys. We're going to go back to the sharp money tool, pull up all the plays, and then we're going to jump into some positive EV plays. Typically in the morning, I like to focus on mainline markets. And like I said, we have college basketball starting in a couple of hours. So there's definitely going to be some spreads and totals that I want to take a look at. Okay, so these plays, all of these player props for the NBA are awesome. The hardest part, guys, really with arbitrage betting is that you have this strategy that you know works, or at least I know it works. Like this strategy makes you money. That's not the problem. The problem is figuring out how to blend in your action to not stick out to the sports books. So I would not bet any of these plays right now because this strategy requires you to bet an under. And no casual sports bettor is betting an under this early in the morning on this Mavericks-Hornets game. You can make the argument there's probably not many casual sports bettors that are placing a bet on the over for this game right now. It's just not really happening. So that's the problem with this strategy, and that's where people are getting limited within the first, maybe their first couple of bets once they open up a new sports book. So, when we're looking at this, I'm really paying attention to the time. Like this Lakers-Pelicans game, hey, thrills, like cool, we could bet this over at thrills. No vig, it doesn't matter. No vig profit X, like they'll never limit you on this guy. So if you ever come across an ARB with two exchanges or a prediction market and an exchange, then go bet that because you'll never get limited. But the rest of these games, you got to pay attention to like what's happening. Pinnacle, they don't limit. Pinnacle welcomes arbitrage bettors. Same with Bet 105, right? But you got to burn through this on Ole Miss. And I don't know how many people that are betting first half money lines this early in the morning. Now, if you're like me and maybe you're limited on FanDuel, then just go bet this on thrills. I'm going to probably take a stab that this is very EV on thrills. Oh, yeah. Not even close. So if you have thrills, guys, and if you don't care, then just go bet this. It actually doesn't look bad on Jazz Sports, though I don't really want to promote Jazz Sports. Not probably my least favorite offshore sports book outside of JuiceBet. If you know, you know. RIP JuiceBet still owe me $1,500. Waiting for that money. Still waiting. And I'll be waiting for another 100 years. Thrills, this over, not too shabby. King, no, they're not. They're not available in Arizona. Just for CX and Sport Trade. OddsJam hasn't removed no vig from my Arizona settings, but they're not available. But I like to leave these books open in case you or someone else lives in a state that has no vig or profit X, so that you can see how many opportunities maybe are available for arbitrage. So no, they're not available for me, but I like to keep them up there for people that don't live, especially when we go through positive EV plays. There's a lot of great plays that I would love to bet on no vig and profit X. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Like in terms of, if you don't, it's also with arbitrage, it really depends on what do you want to get out of your sports betting accounts, or what do you want to get out of sports betting? If you're just here to make enough money to maybe take your family on a vacation or pay off some bills or your mortgage or whatnot, then just go in and smash all these plays, knowing that you're going to get limited. Just go make as much money as you possibly can. But if you're trying to prolong your account health on Hard Rock or Bet365, arbitrage betting then is not really the route that you want to go. It's not what you want to do. All right, let's head over to the Sharp Money tool. Let's tee up all the sports books. And then let's go main markets, player props. Date range for today, it's very, very simple setup. Hopefully you guys tailed that Matty Beniers under shots on goal from the Sharp Money tool yesterday. That was a cash, which was nice. Pistons on the money line. $5,000 is what Pinnacle is taking currently at the moment. Someone has $15,000. They want the Pistons at minus 127. Someone on Novig wants this for $18,000 at minus 124. So this is a sports book in Nevada, not available in Arizona, but in Nevada, called Boomers. If you have Boomers, go bet this at minus 125. Otherwise, I would really utilize the exchanges because no one else is offering a price anywhere close to this. And I would set this up, or maybe you could try to get this at a good price. Okay? So for the example, for me, you kind of have there's a couple different spots that I could try to hit this up with. And so number one would maybe be like a Kalshi, right? Go create this price on Kalshi. And so I'd go to the Pistons and the Cavs. And I'd say, yo, I want Detroit, right? So I come over here, Detroit and Cleveland. I come over to Kalshi and I'd say, hey, give me Detroit on the money line. But I don't want this in dollars. I want to create a limit order, right? So now I can pick my odds, right? Well, I know I want at least minus 125. So let's say I want to bet $100. Okay. Well, then I come over here and I say, hey, I want minus 125 odds. I would love minus 125. Now, I can make sure that this expires at the scheduled event start. Meaning that if this order doesn't get filled at minus 125 odds when the game starts, then I just get my money refunded to me, right? That's it. Pretty simple. If you use good till canceled, then that means the game could start and Cleveland might be up like 20 points. Well, obviously, if Cleveland's up 20 points, you don't want the Pistons on the money line at minus 125 if the Pistons are down 20 points, right? So you want to make sure you do at the scheduled event start, click review, and now I got a $100 limit order out there at minus 125 odds. Now, again, if the order doesn't get filled, I just get refunded over on Kalshi. So I'll go over to Kalshi and just type this in. Say I got minus 125 for $100. And there you go. Kerr, no, Jazz didn't screw me out on money. I've just talked to enough people that had a very poor experience over there. To be honest, I've never had an issue with Jazz. They've paid me out. No issues at all. But other people I've talked to have ran into issues with them. And it's been enough of something that I've heard about that I just don't want to promote that sports book if I've heard enough stories of it giving people problems. So, I'll promote a FanDuel because I know FanDuel's done, will pay out. Jazz for an offshore sports book, I just rather not. Really would just rather not. No doubt, prop. Yeah, I had a good run with them for about a year or so, and then it all came crashing down. All right, let me refresh the page here. Let's take a look. Speaking of Jazz, obviously they're showing on this Knicks Raptors play. Yeah, Irish. Appreciate the tease. Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm not going to be hitting up any of the anytime goal scores this early in the morning. Just my personal preference. But this evening on the stream, yeah, there's a bunch of NHL games today. So there's going to be a lot of anytime goal scores. And Nathan McKinnon potted one for us and Martin Netches. So it wasn't bad yesterday for the anytime goal scores. It was mostly just the Kings and the Avalanche that I was betting on, but that's where the value was, but it's all right. So we're looking at under 221. I mean, if you can't you can get this at plus odds. So again, you could use Kalshi, just how I did. You could go over there and use, Novig, ProfitX, Betfair for me in Arizona, 4CX. I could hit them up and just create pricing. Just create some prices out there and see if the order gets filled. No other sportsbook's really offering plus odds on the under, just Jazz, which not surprising. Jazz is soft to beat, easier to beat, I will say that. But, just not a book that I really want to go attack and use. If you see Daniel Gafford popping up here, guys, you could bet him on Better or Underdog. Put him on a 2-pick slip if you want to. There's a lot of liquidity out here on a player prop. We're talking $1,300 at minus 135. $800 at minus 136. That's a lot of money. So, Pinnacle's taking $250 on this player prop. We're looking at around roughly $2,000 that these people want between minus 135 to minus 137, 2,200. So, not a bad play to go after. Again, tonight we're going to be really targeting a lot of player props, but just wanted to kind of give that shout out over there. BYU, Cincinnati. Yeah, not really. Not really. Speaking of Jazz, another NBA total. So, Spurs, Sixers over. Could bet that on Jazz. So, okay. This FanDuel play for Pelle Larsson Not bad. Not bad. Okay, let's head over to the EV tool. Speaking of mainline markets, there are some college basketball games going on earlier today. Appreciate you guys hanging in with me this morning on the stream. Normally, like I said, why do we focus on mainline markets in the morning? They're easier to beat. They're a lot easier to beat than waiting until minutes before tip-off, right? And so depending on, we're probably going to see the Canby books like Bet Rivers and Ballybet pop up quite a bit for some mainline markets. And we're just gonna let's first use the presets that I already have. Where's my first preset? College basketball. Let's look at some spreads with Circa and Bookmaker. So if you're not limited, guys, on your Bet Rivers or Ballybet, maybe don't go attacking them for a bunch of mainline markets. If you're limited on your Bet Rivers but not on Ballybet, then go hit up all your mainline market plays on Bet Rivers, right? Kentucky plus 1.5 on Bet Openly. You know where you're never going to get limited at? Bet Openly. Love me some Bet Openly. I'm going to be the big bad wolf here. I might take the Cincinnati spread in Kentucky. If you beat me to the punch, and then good on you. But for these open bets, it's a sports book that's peer-to-peer. Maybe I'm typing in Kentucky wrong, unless someone already took it. Yeah, possibly. Let me type in Cincinnati. All right, for the Bearcats, there's only $15 over here, but it's really good. So over a 1% edge, Circa and Bookmaker, right? Bearcats plus 100 here, guys. I can just bet this, click the max button, and Bet Openly will never limit you, right? Awesome sports book, love them. Use them all the time. I've had a lot of success betting with them on college basketball, especially spreads. It's kind of funny because that's where they're showing right now a lot of value. And then the Kentucky play as well. So plus 1.5 for $25. And yeah, it looks really good. All right, we're going to grab that as well. So $25. Okay. If you're on ProfitX, I would definitely bet this Eastern Michigan plus 3.5. There's $90 out here. So solid play. I would hit that up on ProfitX. Already, yeah, I would say at this point, man, sign up. I've been using them now for probably like 2 months. Again, no issues, no problems there. Just gotta get after it. For ProfitX here, now this Central Michigan game, okay, let me see. I don't really like what I see on the Central Michigan game. So this is where I would pause on that one. But like Oklahoma State, $31. San Diego State, this is a lower edge, but $46. All these plays here, even if you live outside the U.S., guys, on Polymarket, like these are low. This is all low dollar amounts here. Like professional bettors aren't trying to, to really get one over on the OddsJam community by hanging $43 or $31 or $90. I don't believe that, I understand there's a lot of professional bettors and sharp bettors that live on the exchanges and prediction markets, but this is just too low, in my opinion, for them to try to be like, yeah, we're just going to try to, we got a great model that crushes college basketball spreads, and we're just going to get one on the OddsJam users by hanging $90 of liquidity. It's just too low, in my opinion. If I'm a professional bettor with a $300,000 bankroll or $1 million bankroll, $90 is well below my 1 unit size. So I'm just not worried about that. All right, let me now throw this open to all of the sharp books. So we'll throw a 1 on all these. We're going to do 50%. And then I'm just going to grab all the mainline markets here. And then we don't want to forget about old first half total points as well for the first halves. Okay. What do we got? A lot of Polymarket. Some Jazz. No VIG over on UMass Lowell in Maine. Okay. Ooh, little Bet365. Speaking of Kalshi, they just popped up. Cool. Okay. Top plays right now. Northeastern for my Bet365 people. First half money line. Plus 145. Pinnacles at 120. Bookmakers at 134. So their average blend is about a 3% edge. I would definitely bet that. Kalshi. Now, here is where we can pause. Here's where we can pause. Kentucky, Texas A&M, and ProfitX, guys, go bet that. Again, if I had a ProfitX account, I would be taking all the liquidity, just like I did on Bet Openly. $21,000 on Kalshi at Northeastern plus 4.5. Now, let's stop and think. Let's just put on our common sense hats for a second. Number one, this is not Northwestern in the Big Ten. This is Northeastern in Monmouth. Okay? Two extremely small college basketball schools. That's number one. Number two, we're talking $21,000. I don't even need to look at bookmakers' limits. This is head and shoulders above and beyond where all the other books have liquidity. Pinnacle's taking $2,000 on this. BetOnline might be taking maybe $3,000. I'm going to go over and take a look now. Okay? So we're seeing some crazy high liquidity here. Okay? Next up, pay attention to what does this person, obviously, if they're offering you Northeastern, that means they want Monmouth. They want Monmouth at plus 100. Is this a realistic price, right? Do they want Monmouth at plus 150 odds? No, they don't. They want it at plus 100. So this is, it's the best price on the market, but Pinnacle's at minus 102. So as soon as I see Pinnacle as the best price here, this is going to be a sharp money play for me. I'm not going over to Kalshi to bet this at $21,000. Clearly, someone, in my opinion, might, have a model that really likes Monmouth at minus 4.5. So I'd look to go bet this over at bet 105 because I can get this at minus 102 over at bet 105. Now, this would be utilizing like a sharp money strategy. Just pay attention to liquidity, guys, right? If you're new to this whole sports betting thing, you're like, Billy, why would you go against what OddsJam is telling you to bet? Think of it this way. You have one sports book that's willing to take $2,000 on this college basketball spread. You have another sports book that's willing to take $21,000. Who has more confidence in their projection? That would be my rebuttal. So, again, you have really two options with this play. Number one, you could just ignore it, walk away, don't touch it. Or you could do what I'm doing and go over about 105, use code BillyC, make a new account, deposit $100. You get a $50 free bet. It's a 1x rollover. Great time over there. Or you could go hit this up on the score, right? I'd be willing to go bet this at the score at minus 105. I don't know if I want to go and bet this at minus 110 on FanDuel. If you don't have the score, go bet this maybe over on No Vig at minus 104 odds. Or go to the exchanges and create your own price. So I'm just going to go over here and bet Monmouth. Now, just because someone has posted this crazy amount of liquidity, as always, doesn't mean that I'm going to go bet the house. I'm not putting the whole mortgage on this Monmouth play, right? So I'm going to go in for a 150 spot at minus 4.5. And I'm just going to click into here and do this. And this is, again, guys, zig and zag. Different strategies. This is how I like to go about it. What's going on, man? Not much. Good to hear that, Kurt. Yeah, it's like I said, you're never going to go wrong with Bet Openly. Now, Bet Openly, here we go. West Virginia, Kansas State, first half over on Bet Rivers. Again, if you're not limited on these books, tough. It's kind of tough to bet this right now, in my opinion, because this isn't great for account health because you're betting on a first half. But, this is where maybe I would try to go to the exchanges, see if we can find this somewhere else on a slightly worse price. Or if you are limited, then please go bet this. But nobody else other than the Canby books are really offering this kind of play. Yeah, I mean, there's some really good opportunities here. Bet Openly isn't quite as good as ProfitX and NoVig because you can't just create your own price for whatever you want it as. But in terms of taking plays, like, it's great. Like, you can bet whatever you want on Bet Openly and don't ever have to worry about getting limited. Plays here on NoVig and ProfitX that I'm still interested in taking into account. Now remember, guys, there's some different confidence that I have in these levels. Let me rephrase it. There's different confidence that I have in these plays. Remember, this tool is showing you where there's edges in the market. But there's a big difference in having an edge on an ACC total points market compared to UMass Lowell and Maine. I can't remember which conference these two schools play in. Having an edge on Texas Tech on the point spread, where the books take more money on point spreads than total points, is a big difference than this total point, right? You could say, well, Billy, these edges are the same. They are, but they're actually not. Because Pinnacle's taken $250 on this market, whereas Pinnacle's taken $2,000 on this market. Understanding the liquidity from these sharp sports books and understanding the different conferences. This is a Power 5 conference. Texas Tech ranked in the top 25. This is a massive difference in confidence in your edge compared to this edge. These two things are not alike. They're not the same. And so just because this tool tells you that they are, they're not. And so that's where I'm hoping with these streams, this is something that you can add to your repertoire and pay attention to, because it's definitely a big deal with college basketball. It's just knowing these Power 5 conferences. They're taking $1,100 on this Clemson, North Carolina game, $250 on this. That's a big difference. So pay attention to that, guys. Your conference and the size of your conference really dictates a lot. Okay, let's take a look at some NBA mainline markets. See what we can get into for the NBA. And again, if you find any of this information insightful, helpful, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. But those are things that you have to pay attention to with college basketball. Not so much for college football, unless you're betting like the D1 AA type of matchups, right? But it does matter a bit with college football when it comes to like SEC football to Conference USA, right? Which, God, I can't wait for football. I miss it. Football, if you're listening, I miss you. All right, so let's take a look. Pinnacle, main markets. I'm not going to set an odds range. Maybe I should, because we got 91 options here. Let's go like minus 150. And let's go to plus 125. Let's keep it pretty simple. And let's see what we got. Okay. Now, again, Hard Rock is going to be your patty cake sports book out there. Really easy to beat. If you want to have a good time, BetMGM under 232.5, Mavericks Hornets. This looks really good. Really good. Pinnacle's taking 3K here. They're at minus 136 odds. Really good. Trent, what's going on? No, we have not. And normally, Trent, good question. On the morning streams, I don't really bet many player props, and so I don't bet goal scorers this early in the morning. I usually wait until later in the afternoon to bet them. Pretty much kind of the same reasons why I don't really bet NBA player props too early in the morning. Now, you could just have some kind of, it's not, the CLV doesn't swing as much for you for the NHL as it does the NBA, because with the NBA, if Luka's not playing tonight, then that really affects Austin Reeves. In the NHL, it's not as big of a deal, but it's still important. I just normally like to wait a little bit later in the day, but and so normally on the morning streams, I just only really focus on mainline markets. And yeah, Ortiz is saying NBA has been brutal this year. Yeah, I haven't really been betting. I would say for the last week or so, I haven't been betting too many NBA player props. Obviously, I bet them on my DFS slips, guys, PrizePicks, Underdog, Better. But in terms of straight wagers, I just haven't really been focusing much time on there. Again, nets on the spread looks really good. Again, guys, we're talking about an NBA mainline point spread. This is maybe a point or two off from the main line. 2.5% edge, MGM. I like that. Hornets, this is nice to see. What you're going to notice is if we go back and look at NBA mainline markets later in this evening stream at 6 o'clock Eastern, you're not going to see 2.5% edges, right? You're going to see some nicer edges this early in the morning. But again, if we find out that like half of the Brooklyn Nets team got food poisoning, they got the Billy C food poisoning, and they're not going to play tonight, then this obviously, now all of a sudden, this spread's going to balloon. It's going to go way up, right? So depending on who's in and out with the NBA, speaking of like a difference with college basketball and like your conferences, there's only 5 guys that are on the floor. And with the NBA, it is the one sport where if a star player is in or out, it's a massive shift in impacting the rest of the guys on the floor. So, with baseball, it's kind of like that with the starting pitcher, but it's not as impactful. It's kind of like, if A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith isn't going for the Eagles, that's really going to change up who's going to be receiving other targets on the field. So, but all these plays, guys, are really auto bets for me, even though they're lower percentage plays. We're talking about the NBA. We're talking about main lines. Pistons -1.5. I'm going to go bet this right now over at FanDuel because Pinnacle was taking $7,500, and they have this at -128. So Pistons -1.5. Obviously, I created a play on Kalshi for the money line, and I'm not going to bet $70 because it's an NBA spread. So I could bet the -2 if I wanted to, which is fine. You got to go to popular here, guys, is where you got to go. And then we're looking at the Pistons. I could use the one-click bet feature. I just normally never do it. And I'm going to go in for a 150 spot over here on the Pistons. I like to bet 1.5 to 2 times the amount that OddsJam's recommending me to bet because it's an NBA point spread, right? So there we go. Pistons -1.5. I could go back to the well and bet this at -2 if I wanted to, because obviously if they win by 2, it's a push and a win. But if they lose, then I'm going to lose 2 bets. It all just depends on your risk tolerance. Nets +13.5 on the Heat. All right. I know. The Nets aren't very good. Now remember, guys, if you don't know this, little tip. FanDuel bakes in a little extra juice sometimes on their mainline markets. Don't bet this at -112. Come over to popular. Little tip here, okay? For those of you that are up this early with me and paying attention. Go to alternate spread and then go to the Nets. And you can see the main line here is Nets +13.5 at -112. Or, oh, look at this. I can get them at +13.5 at -110 on the alternate spread. Yeah, that's right, folks. FanDuel is banking on you that you're lazy. So I'm just going to go 110 to make 100 here. So you have to go to alternate spreads, take the reduced juice. Little tip there. So, yeah, King, I appreciate it, man. To me, I'm looking for the value. I'm looking for value. If there was value on the Heat, I would take value on the Heat. I don't really, you can, again, when it comes to sports betting, for me personally, it all comes down to price. And if you give me a good enough price, I could basically talk you into any play. If I gave you +1 billion odds on the Heat, I think you'd bet the Heat. If I gave you +1 billion odds on the Nets, you'd bet the Nets. So if the price is right, I'm interested. And so whether a team's garbage or not, if it's a good enough price, I'm good to go with that. And that's not just in sports betting, but I would say in life as well. If the price is right, yeah, you have my attention. So mainline markets, guys, obviously Jazz Sports, you can hit this up. And so, one reason here, like you've seen me in the past place bets on Bet Rivers and Bally Bet for mainline markets. Both of these accounts now for me are limited to like $5. My Desert Diamond account, though, is not limited yet. And I find that there's other ways that I can really squeeze a lot more health out of that account instead of placing mainline markets on bets on the NBA this early in the morning. There's some other ways I like to use that account. So just little tips and tricks there for you guys. We're on the Pistons. We're on the Nets. Again, we're just devigging the Pinnacle, but you could use a combination of other books if you wanted to. But pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Let's take a look also on the NHL because there's a lot of games going on in the NHL mainline markets. Love betting mainline markets. Then we'll look at some soccer as well. Okay. Now, something else I would pay attention to. Like, I don't have Polymarket. right? But if there was maybe $60,000 on this under 6.5, that clearly means that somebody wants the over on this play. And I would look to bet the over. But without parlay market, not great. San Jose on the money line here, guys. This is an NHL money line play tonight. Over a 1% edge. If you have no vig, $58, go bet that. Now, I love these plays that are offered on Bally Bet. These are flat numbers over 6. So you have some insurance, 4-2, 5-1, 6-0. Obviously, then you get your money back. So you have a little extra confidence betting this over. Honestly, too, with the over 6, I would bet a little bit more money on this play because you do have insurance tagged onto this specific line. And then we have some other money line plays here. Like, here we go. Winnipeg Jets, $71,000 on the money line. I'm not going to bet the Winnipeg Jets if someone has $71K out there. But maybe I'll look to bet Chicago on the opposite side. Now there's $50,000. Doesn't bother me. Now, they want this at plus 144 odds on Chicago. Okay? So naturally, it doesn't look like you can get plus 144 odds. So remember, I'm not just firing off any bet on the Blackhawks money line just because someone has 50 grand posted. But, you know, if I could get this at Jazz at plus 140, or I would just go and create this, no vig at plus 141, $70. Go bet this on no vig. You know, but this person wants it at plus 144. So maybe I would go create this market out there. This is why, guys, I don't have like a cap on my EV edge. Because when you see shit like this, it's like, oh, okay. Excuse me, sir, I was not familiar with your game. This is something that you can take insight from. If you're someone that's interested in like, hey, I'll bet the opposite side of this, then, you know, Pinnacle's taking 5K on this market. That's $50,000 is well above 5K. So take a look at that. Do I play a lot of player props? I mean, well, that's all that's available to me with Better and Underdog. I don't live in a state that I can use like the prediction markets with Underdog and Better. So my only options on any of the DFS at books, PrizePicks, Underdog, Dabble, Parlay Play, Better, I can only play player props. So that's all I have. That's the only option available to me. All right, so, you know, normally, guys, while on the streams, I don't show a lot of mainline markets for the NHL. There's not a lot happening. A little bit, but not a ton. Same with the Devils on the money line. There's 13,000. Oh, there's now 6,000. Would have been something at 13K I maybe would have been interested in grabbing. Okay, last but not least, let's go to my soccer. And let's see if we got anything for today. 3 results. Okay. God damn it, I don't want to promote this sports book. Jazz Sports. Okay. Jazz is out there. We might start just not showing them. Let's go for the next 7 days. What do we got? Got a lot of money line 3-ways. If you're not familiar with, or if you don't bet a lot of soccer, all this means on a 3-way is that, you know, this club has to win the match. They can't draw. They can't lose. They have to win. So, you know, that's how it kind of works with this particular market. $25 on Fulham and West Ham, guys. This is for tomorrow. No vig. Go bet this. Auto bet. Just go bet Premier League. Just go bet it. Okay. Ooh. This is Thursday. Again, I would not bet this on Caesars. I would not. Why? Because no offense to anyone that likes to watch the India Super League, but this is the main league in India, which isn't nearly as popular as the Premier League or hell, even League One. So, and the match doesn't start until Thursday morning. So how many casual sports bettors in America are betting on Indian soccer? Right, so that's the pro and the con here. Like, you know, obviously I love this because it's no vig, you'll never get limited, but also it's the Premier League. So it's the most popular league. Now, this match doesn't start until tomorrow, but I'm cool with it. So that's the pros and the cons here, guys, with soccer, okay? Also, understanding some of your sports books, like Bet365, they're huge out in Europe. You could bet a lot of soccer on Bet365. You know, I don't care about Bet Online because I'm not going to get limited here. This is MLS for Saturday. They're not going to limit me, right? Understanding your sports book, understanding the league, all of this, guys, is kind of important when it comes to your account health and which books you're going to attack and which books you're just going to kind of pass on, right? So, but again, if you're limited on the sports books, then just go bet these plays. That would kind of be my 2 cents. Let's see if the sharp money tools changed anything, at all when it comes to this. No. Pistons money lines, top play. A lot of jazz is showing up. We got a lot of player props out here. Obviously, you're seeing player props in the $2,000 range. This would get my attention. I'd say, hey, all right, maybe I want to bet Nas Reed. I'm looking for mainline markets, really. And it's just all player props at the moment. Ooh, here we go. Now, it's a lower edge play, but this is you're just getting a good price on Bally Bet and Bet Parks. Again, the Canby books, guys, for the NBA, for total points, point spreads, this early in the morning, you'll find a lot of value. So, Kings plus 11. Pinnacle's at minus 128. They're taking $10,000 on this. This is 11 cents off. Very, very good price. So, bet the Kings at plus 11. I know they're a hot dumpster fire, but getting a really good price. Always will come down to price. All right, that's where we're going to kind of pause for this morning. Buckle up for tonight. We're going to have a lot happening because outside of just betting anytime goal scorers and player props for tonight's stream, we're also going to have a lot of college basketball games in action, or some, I should say. So we're going to look to live bet some college basketball as well on the evening stream, which is going to be fantastic. So whether you want to live bet, arbitrage, plus EV, sharp money, whatever you're into, come hang out. And we're going to be firing off a lot. So also, if you guys are new, just check coming in now. We fire off a lot of DFS slips early on the streams. And then then it goes to arbitrage, and then it goes to a lot of positive EV betting. So if you're a DFS person, make sure that you come and check the streams out right when they start at 6 o'clock Eastern, because the first 15 minutes or so is just dedicated to DFS. So, and I share those links in the chat. Otherwise, guys, have a very awesome Tuesday morning. Hopefully work doesn't go too bad for you. Hopefully your boss isn't a piece of shit. You have a great, strong start, and I'll talk to you guys later on this evening. Take care.